Hey everybody, how we doing? Ryan again from Crumbs Cards here. Gonna do another video. My first video, if you didn't see it, was a tour of my collection room that I'm in. Um, I expected like 25 people to watch it, and hundreds of people have watched it, which is shocking to me, and I'm very grateful. A lot of nice comments on it, and I really enjoyed doing that. Really enjoyed sharing my collection. And this video, I'm going to dig a little deeper into it and go into um, an autograph set that I've been working on for a few years now. It's the 1991-92 Skybox set, basketball set. I'm going for cards 1 through 297. The whole checklist is like 700 cards, and there's 15 Michael Jordan cards, and I don't think I'll ever get one, let alone 15. So I'm just going through for basically Series 1 through 297. Just to give an example of some of the things I talk about. If you're watching this, you probably already know all these things, but my mom might watch it. She doesn't know any of this stuff. When I say things like private signing or public signing, here's an example of one I got through there. So a public signing is one that the public can go to and they sign autographs for you, not for free. Private signing would be you have like a promoter that goes and works with them, and I would send my cards to them, tell them what they want, send money, obviously. Nothing's free in this world. And then they send the cards back to you. So something like this was done at the National Sports Collectors Convention, and I was able to get it signed to Ryan, which is what I do a lot. Not many people like that. They don't want that because it makes the cards hard to sell. Because nobody's going to want a card signed to Ryan unless their name is Ryan. But that's how I do it. My thoughts kind of, I can just go on eBay and find an autograph card of Chris Mullin. I want something signed to me. So that's why I do that. Another thing you'll hear is either through the mail or TTM, which means through the mail. So that's when you send a card to a player, for example, BJ Armstrong. I just mail this card to him. Some of them want a fee, which is fine. To send it back, and I send them a self-addressed stamped envelope. They would sign the card, put it back in the envelope. It's already ready to go. Send it back to me. If you make it easy as possible, you have everything ready to go. They just sign it. Sometimes they'll read their note, and I'll ask for an inscription or a personalization, and they'll do it. Sometimes they probably even read the note. They just sign it and send it back. Most of the time, they don't even send it back. So if I send out 20 of them, I'll probably get 6 of them back. But only costs, as much as a stamp and the card. So I like to do that. You'll see a lot of the cards from this set came from that. Another thing you'll hear about is certification. So a card like this, I purchased, and it looked like this when I purchased it. Sent it into a company, and they certified that it's a real autograph. And then they encase it in this, not indestructible, but heavy-duty case, so it can't be tampered with. So they're saying, in their opinion, this is a real autograph. So I like to do that when I can. It does obviously cost money, and you are without your cards for a while, so that always scares me to send them away. The reason that I'm working on this set is kind of a couple reasons. This era of basketball is just my favorite thing in sports of all time. The Michael Jordan era of basketball. You still had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, right before Shaq came in the league. But just all my favorite players from when I grew up come from this era and are in this card set. So just made sense to go after those guys. Plus, again, looking at the cards, kind of a white background predominantly on most of them. So it makes the signatures really pop on them. Sometimes you get darker backgrounds, you can't see the signatures. And then the cards in general just look very 90s, which is my favorite era of sports, my favorite era of collecting. So just a real neat looking set. I remember my parents buying me these cards a lot as a kid. The cards were fairly cheap, all things considered, which is another reason why I still like to do this set because, say I send this card to Mo Cheeks, doesn't come back, I can buy this card for 10 cents if I don't already have 20 of them in my collection somewhere. So it's not like I'm risking a lot by sending these cards out. So hopefully that helps explain things to you a little bit if you're kind of confused as to what I'm talking about when I go through this. Again, if you're into this kind of stuff and you're watching this, you probably know. So I don't mean to talk down to you and I'm just explaining it to people that maybe don't know. So I'll kind of go through it in alphabetical order by the city's name. So we'll start in Atlanta and then head to Washington. Again, this video might not be for everybody. It's going to be kind of long. It's funny, I was always so scared to make YouTube videos, and now I've made 2, and they're both about as long as the Lord of the Rings. So I guess I must not be that scared. But this one would be a good one to put on the background, maybe when you're doing something else, and if you hear a name that a player you like, you could look up and see what I'm talking about. But I appreciate you watching either way. Again, thanks for watching my room tour video, if you did, and left a nice comment. That really means a lot to me, so thank you very much. All right, here we go with the Atlanta Hawks. Gives you a good idea what the cards look like. This is the card number 2 in the set, Dwayne Farrell. Gives you information on the back. When they were drafted, he was not drafted, so 3 years pro, that's pretty great. There he is, signing an autograph, maybe for a young me, who knows. Like I was talking about earlier, through the mail, I request that they sign it to me. And then also, I try to get any kind of nicknames on there. So it's a good example to start with. You see here, to Ryan, and then his nickname is Paco. So it's got both on there. I don't have many that have both to me and a nickname. But that was a good one to start with because it had both. Next up, Cedar Rapids, Iowa, born John Koncak, signed to Ryan. This one I did not ask for a nickname because if you know about him, they called him John Contract because he signed a crazy deal as a reserve, like $13 million, and kind of didn't live up to it, but he's laughing all the way to the bank with that money. Next up's a good TTM signer, Tim McCormick. I believe he's announcer for Detroit now, or studio analyst, something like that. He was drafted in the same draft as Michael Jordan. Tim McCormick. Hall of Famer, Sidney Moncrief. Signed there with the 5-time All-Star inscription. Another good through the mail signer. Next up, Glenn Doc Rivers. This was a purchase already certified. You don't see Doc doing too many signings or signing through the mail. He's busy getting jobs that he probably doesn't deserve, coaching. I like Doc, but how many times can you fail and get another job? Spud Webb. Good time to show this card off as the Slam Dunk Contest is tonight. This one was a private signing done, and I requested the Slam Dunk 86 champion inscription on there. Nice looking card. Another purchase here, Dominique Wilkins. Dominique does a lot of signings and goes to a lot of shows. I've actually met him a few times, but every other time I got other things signed. So I saw this on eBay, already certified through Beckett, and it was very cheap, so picked that one up. And last one for Atlanta, Kevin Willis. He did a public signing last year, I think early 2023. First time I've ever seen him do a signing. So I was very happy to get that one done. Good looking signature on there. Okay, moving on. Boston Celtics. The Boston Celtic, in my eyes, Larry Bird. He does a lot of signings. This one, he kind of used a thin Sharpie on there, but still looks good. And it's got the Beckett Witness certification on the back there. Awesome looking card. Iowa Hawkeye, Kevin Gamble. Good through the mail signer. Joe Klein. This was purchased at the National a couple years ago. There's a booth there where a guy has all kinds of binders of in-person autographs. Mostly baseball, but he does have a couple basketball binders I like to go through every time I'm there. And this was purchased from that. Very cheap. I think it's signed upside down, but Joe Klein. Next up, another guy who does a lot of shows and might be one of the nicest players that goes to autograph signings. Every time, I've met him a couple times, and every time he asks about you, where you're from. Just very, very nice guy. Kevin McHale signed to Ryan in the Hall of Fame 99 inscription. He did it for free. I didn't pay for it. Just asked him if he'd sign those, and he did. Very nice guy. Next up is one of the best through the mail signers, Robert Parrish. I've only sent him a couple things. I try not to abuse the guys that send or that sign well through the mail, and he's definitely one of them. Ed Pinckney through the mail with the 1985 Final Four MVP inscription from Villanova. All right, moving on to the Charlotte Hornets. Kenny Gaddison, good through the mail signer. I know Michael Jordan was a big fan of his, always trying to get him on the Bulls, but they could never make it happen. Speaking of the Bulls, next up is former Bull Kendall Gill. He's now a studio analyst for the Bulls. Beautiful autograph there. Bright blue, signed to Ryan through the mail. This one, unfortunately, is the opposite. Mike Jaminski. Looks like he used kind of a dry Sharpie on that one, but still happy to get it through the mail. Randolph Keys. Not real familiar with him, but he's a good through the mail signer. Looks like 88 draft to Cleveland from Southern Mississippi. Johnny Newman. Kind of hit or miss through the mail. I think I sent this a few times and finally got it back. And last up for the Hornets, Kelly Tripucka with one of the better looking autographs you're going to see. Signed to Ryan. Good luck through the mail. He's a very good through the mail signer. Chicago Bulls, one of my all-time favorites. Great through the mail signer, B.J. Armstrong. This was also through the mail. Used to be a good signer. I guess I don't check much if he's still signing, but Bill Cartwright, three-time NBA champion inscription. Horace Grant. Got this signed at the National a few years ago. He was a very nice guy. It's glad to get, I think the year before he started wearing the goggles, so I'm glad this picture shows him in his famous goggles. And I also read recently that he said he didn't even need them after a couple years, but he wore them because some parents had told him that his kid used to get picked on for wearing goggles, but he made it cool to do it. So I thought that was a neat story, and he was a very nice guy. Horace Grant. Craig Hodges. I don't know why, but I've seen a lot of these cards smeared like this. A couple on eBay. Mine was smeared through the mail. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a coincidence or if I know some players, they bend corners or draw Sharpie on the corners, maybe to devalue the card, or I don't know what reason, but or maybe just, like I said, maybe just coincidence. But I've seen a lot of smeared Craig Hodges autographs, and mine came back that way also. Dennis Hobson. This was a purchase from Signatures for Soldiers at the National. Maybe $2, but I'm always happy to buy stuff from them. It's a good cause. Public signing here, Stacey King, Bulls announcer, to give me the hot sauce inscription. Cliff Levingston. He was a VIP signer at the National a couple years ago. Signed to Ryan. And John Paxson, another guy who used to sign a lot through the mail. I don't know if he still does or not, but he used to be a great signer. He was a great Chicago Bull. Cleveland Cavaliers. Craig Elo, very good through the mail signer. With to Ryan, play hard. Danny Ferry, another good through the mail signer. Steve Kerr. I've seen him sign through the mail, but I actually did purchase this for pretty cheap. But I wouldn't mind sending him some other stuff to get signed. Larry Nance, former Slam Dunk champion. Great signer through the mail. And Mark Price, former Dream Team 2 player. Got that signed through the mail. Again, I don't see many returns anymore from him, but maybe people just aren't trying. But if you aren't, you should. Dallas Mavericks. James Donaldson, former All-Star. This was a purchase. I've never seen him do any signings or sign through the mail. Derek Harper. This was done through a private signing through a company in New York who used to do a lot of NBA signings. At the same time, they did adult film actresses, which I always thought was weird, but they had a lot of good former Knicks and Nets players. Derek Harper obviously played for the Knicks as well as the Mavericks. But recently, I've seen they've cut off the NBA guys, and they're only doing the adult film stars, so I should probably unfollow them. Of course, I don't know any of the adult film stars they have on there. But at one time, they were doing a lot of NBA guys. I got that one signed through them. Lafayette Fat Lever. That was a purchase. Brad Davis. I believe he has his number retired from the Mavericks, and he's a very good through-the-mail signer. Herb Williams. I did purchase this very cheap, but I saw that he started returning fan mail. Now, some of the returns I saw took like a year to get back, but I think I'll send him out one to try to get it personalized. And finally for Dallas, Roy Tarpley. I purchased this one at the National. I think it was like $10 to $15. Roy is no longer with us, and he's one of a handful of players to ever be suspended permanently by the NBA. I think it was in 1995. He was finally suspended for the last time and not allowed to come back. I did get this certified at a local card show here through JSA. So you don't see a lot of Roy Tarpley autographs out there. So getting this for $10 and then certified for pretty cheap, I thought worked out pretty well. And just a couple Denver Nuggets players. Marcus Liberty. Through the mail, he's a very good signer. Another one through the mail, Joe Wolf. Not sure what kind of pen he used. Really nice, though. Some sort of gold pen on that one. He is a coach for a G League team that comes to town here usually once a year. I'm not sure if they're coming this year, though. I don't think they are. But next time he comes through, I might try to get one in person. It's always nicer to have him in person. Next up, we have Detroit Pistons, one of the teams that I'm furthest along on, only missing one card. First up, Mark Aguirre. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Great player, great scorer for both Dallas and Detroit. This was done through a private signing with the personalization on there. Love Mark Aguirre. This one I just got in yesterday, and it'd been out for, I would say, 4 years probably. Came to my old address and got forwarded. At least 4 years this thing was out. I saw some others coming back too, so he must have just started signing again. William Bedford with the 1990 Champs inscription on there. And next up, Lance Blanks. Bought this at the National last year. Fortunately, he had passed away about 2 months before that by suicide, unfortunately. So, Lance Blanks. Joe Dumars. This was a purchase already certified. I was supposed to meet him at the National last year, but kept changing his days and ended up being there on a day that I wasn't going to be there. But I did already have this certified. Good through the mail signer here. James Edwards. Signed to Ryan. Kind of hard to read. I love this one. This is through the mail. Scott Hastings. I asked all the Pistons from this for a Bad Boys inscription. He signed a Bad Boys for life. Very cool, Scott Hastings. Bill Laimbeer, certified purchase. I'd love him to do a signing, but I don't see that happening. Big fan of Bill Laimbeer also. Dennis Rodman, I've seen at shows multiple times, but these cards are very cheap to purchase, so I had other things signed by him. Bought this one on eBay already certified. Kind of funny, his signature almost matches the background on some of these cards. John Spider Sally. Through the mail return. He's been returning mail recently. And the original bad boy, Isaiah Thomas. Got this at the National in 2015, I believe. 2018. 2018 National. Very, very nice guy. Very friendly. I know he's had his issues in the past, but very, very nice guy, Isaiah. So the only one I'm missing there for the Pistons is the microwave, Vinnie Johnson. And I don't think that guy even signs his checks, I guess. I couldn't think of a joke, but very, very good, hard guy to get a signature from. I know he owns a business in Detroit. I've sent there a couple times, and I've never seen him sign anything. Golden State Warriors, Mario Ellie. This was a purchase, but I think he's done some signings recently, so I should send one in for a personalization on that. Tim Hardaway. Signed to Ryan there. This was a private signing. I did end up meeting him at the National last year, but he was just signing other things for some company. But nice to have that one. Good through the mail signer, Rod Higgins. Continues to be a good signer. Tyrone Hill. I purchased this one here off of eBay, and then he did a signing. So I sent in for a signing with a personalization, and they didn't do the personalization. So kind of a waste, but I have 2 Tyrone Hills if anybody needs one. If anybody needs one. Sarunas Marciulionis. I'd like to get this one certified. I do see some autographs of him out there, but this was just a purchase, so I would like to get it certified through PSA. One of my favorites, Chris Mullin. Met him at a National a few years ago, but this was actually done through a private signing, personalized. And the last part of Run TMC, Mitch Richmond, authenticated through PSA. He's been doing quite a few shows lately, but none that I've been at, and I had already purchased his card before he started kind of signing quite a bit, so have that, but I wouldn't mind upgrading to a personalized. Houston Rockets, Eric Sleepy Floyd, signed through the mail. Dave Jamerson, good through the mail signer, but to be honest, I don't know a whole lot about him. And by a whole lot, I mean anything. Mad Max, Vernon Maxwell, he was signing like crazy there for a while. I did send out another one for personalization for him and have not seen it back, and actually got a return to sender. So he either quit signing or moved, but hopefully he continues to sign through the mail because I'd like to send him some more stuff. Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon. This was done through a private signing. I did not get it personalized for some. I think the inscriptions were too much, maybe, for what I wanted to spend. I'm going to have a couple other things personalized through him, or from him. But Hakeem Olajuwon. And Kenny Smith. This was a purchase on eBay. Pretty inexpensive. Indiana Pacers. Greg Dreeling. Great through the mail signer. Got this one back fairly recently. Vern Fleming. He's been signing a lot, I see. Through the mail. Got a big one here. Reggie Miller. I bought this not certified off of eBay from a guy who had it up there for probably $300 at one point, and I kept sending him offers, and he kept declining. Then he ended up dropping to $100. Kept declining my offers even on that because I just didn't know if it was real or not, so I didn't want to spend a bunch of money. Ended up getting it for $50. He messaged me and said, I'll sell it to you for $50. So he must have needed the money, so I bought it, sent it in, and it came back authentic, so that's awesome. Reggie Miller, not a big signer. Detlef Shrimp. This was a purchase. Another one I'd like to send in to get certified because you do see some of his autographs out there, but just always nice to get them certified and slabbed up. Finally, Rick Smits with the Dunking Dutchman inscription. He was signed in through the mail quite a bit a few years ago. I haven't seen much lately, but I guess I haven't really looked either. Okay, moving on to LA. I love LA. Start with the Clippers. Winston Garland. He signed it to Ryan. Go SCC. Not sure what that is. Community college, maybe, with a smiley face. Winston Garland. By the way, I saw the new Clippers logo they put out. I like it. They've had pretty bad logos throughout their history, and I kind of like their new one. This is a pretty recent return here. Gary Grant. Went to Michigan, I believe. Yes, got that right. Gary Grant, I've seen him returning quite a bit of mail recently. Ron Harper, played for multiple teams, but he was on the Clippers during this time. Got this done through a private signing, although I have met him in person also. Signed to Ryan. And finally, for the Clippers, Loy Vaught. Good through the mail signer. I believe he does charge now. I don't think he was when I sent this. I think he's $5 per card. He actually signed mine twice, so I don't know if the $5 you send gets 2 signatures, but I got 2 on there. The other team in LA, Lakers, Vlade Divac. Purchased this one on eBay. Another guy that I don't see a lot of signatures from. So I snagged this one up as soon as I saw it on eBay. Got the 10 autograph on there. AC Green, guy that I have a lot of things in common with. He was very, very good through the mail signer. Again, I haven't checked up recently if he's still signing. But got this back from AC Green, personalized. Big one here, Magic Johnson. He did the Chicago Sports Spectacular a few years ago, and I sent this in. And then sent it off to PSA to get certified, more just to get slabbed up. Already knew it was real from the signing, but love that card. Cool image. Love Magic. Big Smooth, Sam Perkins. He's been doing some signings recently. I did purchase this one, but I would really like to send a couple cards to a signing to get personalized and get a couple Mavericks cards signed also. Byron Scott. Met him at the National again a few years ago. Got a few things signed by Byron. I had his rookie card signed and personalized, and then I didn't pay extra to get this one personalized. Terry Teagle. This was done through a private signing. I want to say it was Famous Ink, maybe, is the company that does it in Texas. They do a lot of, I don't want to say smaller player, but more role type players for very, very cheap. This was $5, signed and personalized. So very, very cool that they do that. I hope they do a lot more. Terry Teagle. And James Worthy with the big game. James Worthy, big game inscription on there. This was at the National a few years ago also. Big game James. Go quickly through the Miami Heat. There's only 3 cards. Another one of my favorites, Glenn Rice. Signed this through the mail. Used to be a very good signer. I've got quite a few things back from him. Good shooter here, John Sunvold. He was the A990 3-point contest contestant. Did not win, but very good shooter. He's an announcer now, I believe. And Billy Thompson, who was in the 1990 NBA dunk contest. He also sent a signed business card along with this. Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee, of course, Algonquin for the good land. Just made myself laugh there. Iowa Hawkeye. No, excuse me. Oh, my God. Iowa State Cyclone. Wow. Jeff Greer. Signed through the mail. That was a big mistake. Here's an Iowa Hawkeye. Brad Lowhouse. I believe I purchased this. Pretty sure. Fred Roberts. Signed through the mail. Personalized. Next up, Alvin Robertson. There's a YouTube channel I listen to called Forgotten Player Profiles. It's mostly about the NBA in the 80s and 90s and kind of, I don't want to say lesser known players because Robertson was an all-star, at least I think he was 4-time all-star. But again, guys that you might have forgot about. Very, very interesting show to listen to. And Robertson did have some legal troubles throughout his career, but he was, I think, 1986 Defensive Player of the Year. Again, multiple-time All-Star. He won the first ever Most Improved Player award. But then on like 2010 range, he got falsely accused of trafficking. I mean, something just horrible. Ended up not being true. The person took it all back, but kind of ruined his reputation, and that's too bad. If he truly was innocent, which I'm sure he was. Not passing any judgment, but very interesting thing. And like I said, that Forgotten Player Profiles. Check that out. Recent return through the mail, Dan Shays. And also through the mail, Jack Sikma with a 7-time NBA All-Star inscription. Probably my favorite one. On the Bucks, Dale Ellis. Got this years ago through a private signing. 89 3-point champion. Inscription on there. This guy seems like he'd be quiet as a church mouse, but he had some issues back in the day. A lot of fighting, a lot of drinking. He could party. He could also shoot, which I love. Shoot 3-pointers. I love him. Dale Ellis. All right, another quick one. Minnesota Timberwolves. I believe all these were done through the mail. Randy Brewer. Scott Brooks. Maybe no more for coaching now. Another guy who's a coach. Tyrone Corbin. Assistant coach. And Todd Murphy. He might coach. I honestly don't know. Don't know much about him at all. But all those done through the mail. Minnesota Timberwolves. New Jersey Nets. Speaking of legal troubles, Mookie Blaylock, who might still be in prison or got out of prison fairly recently. Unfortunately killed somebody crossing over the dividing line on a road. He had, I know, alcohol problems in the past. I think he said he had a seizure when he was driving, but he was put in jail because he wasn't supposed to be driving at all from past issues. So, sounds kind of negative, but there's Mookie Blaylock. That was a purchase. I don't see many signings from him. Jud Bushler, through the mail. Known more for playing for the Bulls with Michael Jordan. Chris Dudley. I believe one of the worst free throw percentages of all time. I'm very negative with the Nets for some reason. Sorry. Nothing negative to say about Terry Mills. Terry Mills, personalized through the mail. Cool picture there with Scottie Pippen. Next up, New York Knicks. Made pretty good progress on this team. There are a lot of good through the mail signers and guys that do signings. First up, current Bulls assistant, Maurice Cheeks. Very good through the mail signer. Big one here I never thought I'd get, but now I see he's doing another signing. But his first signing he did, I sent this one in. Patrick Ewing. Beautiful signature on there. He's one that he didn't think would ever do a signing, so I'm hoping some of the other guys will step up and do some signings that I'm missing in this set. Because I'm willing to pay for them as long as they do the signing. And yeah, Patrick Ewing. Love it. Mark Jackson. Should be a coach, in my opinion. Always signs with the God bless you. Like we're sneezing or something. Charles Oakley. This one's starting to fade a little bit. I think I've had this one for a while, and I used to store them kind of in the sunlight. So I've got a couple of them that are fading. But I've met Charles a couple times. Got that one signed to Ryan. Love it. Another one that's fading a little bit. Had this one for a while. John Starks. Did that through a private signing, but he does some public signings now too. Got Trent Tucker. I believe this was a purchase. Another guy I don't see a lot of signed stuff is Kiki Vandeweghe. Purchases of the National a couple years ago. He's some sort of high up in the NBA these days. I don't know what he does exactly, but he works in the head office there. Kenny Skywalker. former slam dunk champ, and great through the mail signer. And Gerald Wilkins. This was a purchase, kind of smeared, not the best autograph, but I don't see a ton of his autographs out there. He did do a show last year, but I just didn't bother since I already had this one. Dominique's brother, Gerald. I'm sure he'll love to hear that. Another short and sweet one here, Orlando Magic. The original Orlando Magic, Nick Anderson. Great autograph, great through the mail signer. Great guy, by all accounts. Too bad he missed all those free throws in that game. That's kind of haunted him, but good guy, Nick Anderson. Greg Kite, good through the mail signer. I'm sure he's a good guy too, but don't know much about him. And Jerry Ice Reynolds, another good through the mail signer. Philadelphia 76ers. I just found out as I was going through my stuff and organizing, Hersey Hawkins is literally one of the best signers that we have through the mail. So I'd sent this out to him years ago. Crossed it off my list. I just now realized this is a Series 2 card. One of the easiest guys to get I don't even have in my set. So I will be sending that out today to get that corrected. Unbelievable. So angry at myself. But here's Charles Barkley, certified through Beckett. I purchased this with some money given to us during the pandemic. So thank you, Joe Biden, for that Charles Barkley autograph. Guy I'd love to see do some signings. Rick Mahorn. This was a purchase. There is a certified one currently on eBay. A little too expensive for me. The guy will not accept my offers. So I'll stick with this one through now. Maybe go get it certified and slabbed up. But another bad boy, Rick Mahorn. And a bad boy for a different reason. But I got to have him in the set. Jason Williams. He got drunk and shot a limo driver and killed him. But, of course, he's out now. Why wouldn't he be? But, yeah. If you're going to be a drunk, maybe don't play with guns while you're doing it. Just my thoughts. I know it doesn't matter what I think, but Jason Williams. What a joke. Moving on to the Phoenix Suns. Kevin Johnson. Got this back through the mail. I don't see a lot of things coming back from him, but I just sent this out and got it back. I should get it certified to make sure it's real. But great point guard. Not maybe the greatest guy by some accounts. Some of the things he's done, but that's that. Here's a great guy. Iowa State Cyclone Jeff Hornacek. Maybe known more for his time in Utah, but on the Suns in this one. Beautiful autograph. Beautiful man. Speaking of beautiful men, Kurt Rambis. Been signing a lot recently. This one I actually purchased long ago before he started signing, and I sent out one to get signed, and then I sent out another Laker card, a different kind of card. Got the Laker one back. I have not gotten this one back, so I actually sent another one off. So I may have a couple coming in whenever he gets around to signing. This is signed on the back to somebody else, so this will definitely be leaving the collection as soon as the other one comes back, and hopefully it does. Hopefully it keeps signing. I included a little money in there for him just because I wanted to make sure it came back. Oops. Dropping stuff. Tom Chambers. Great player, great dunker. Current post-game guy, I believe, for the Suns. That was a purchase at the National. The X-Man, Xavier McDaniel, with that X-Man inscription. This was a purchase. He did do a signing last year, but this is kind of what I would want on the card anyway, so I just purchased this cheaper than what the signing would be. Through the mail, Mark West. Used a bad Sharpie on there, but happy to get it back. And another one of our best signers out there, Thunder Dan Marley. Love that guy. Moving on to the Portland Trailblazers. Speaking again about that forgotten player profiles on YouTube. Walter Davis recently passed away, but there's one on him also, and some of the cocaine issues he had and the league had at the time, back in the early 80s. He actually had to rat out some other players to avoid, I think, being suspended or maybe even going to jail. So, great player. You can see 1978 Rookie of the Year. I know Michael Jordan was a big fan of his, always trying to get him on the Bulls. Like I said, recently deceased, just a couple months ago. But very interesting story, Walter Davis. Danny Ainge, I've sent to this guy multiple times, never got anything back. Now I see he's starting to sign and return stuff, so I'm going to send some stuff out. I did purchase this at the National, and then again at a local card show, got it JSA certified, so it's the real deal. Like I said, I'm going to send some stuff out to him, but I'm kind of a bigger fan of him on the Celtics, so I'll probably send some Celtics stuff, and then he played for the Blue Jays also in baseball, and I've got a couple rookie cards I'll send out to him, hopefully get those signed. The late, great Jerome Kersey. Purchased this one not too long ago. All certified by Beckett. Got this relatively cheap. Obviously, when people pass away, their prices go up, but I was happy to get this one for a decent price and happy to have it in the collection. Terry Porter, always good signer through the mail. Big part of the championship Blazer teams. Buck Williams, he did a public signing early January last year. Had a lot of NBA guys there, but most of them I already had for the set. Did not have Buck Williams, so I got that one signed. And probably the best known, Clyde the Glide Drexler. I did this through a signing with Fitterman Sports. Got it JSA certified there. I did pay for an inscription or personalization, which they did not do. So I did get my money back for that, which is nice. And then I don't know what he signed with, but it's kind of a bold marker. Looks pretty good. I'm worried it's going to fade a little bit, but Clyde the Glide Drexler. Beautiful. Sacramento, where you at? Travis Mays. I believe this is considered his rookie card. Through the mail, personalized. Another good through the mail guy, Jim Less. Looks like drafted in 86. I just don't know much about him. Sorry, Jim, but appreciate you signing through the mail. Great Bill Wennington. Met him at the National last year. He was a VIP signer. Obviously known more for the Bulls, but started out with Sacramento. Got that one personalized. Very nice guy. Ralph Sampson. One of the Twin Towers. Been signing through the mail quite a bit. It might charge now, I'm not entirely sure. Big Dog Antoine Carr. Again, known more for the Jazz probably, but Sacramento there. Finally for Sacramento, another Iowa Hawkeye. 1980 Final Four Iowa Hawkeyes. Bobby Hansen. Still lives in Iowa, I believe. San Antonio Spurs. Avery Johnson. This was a purchase. Good through the mail signer, Paul Pressey, with the 86 Slam Dunk Contest inscription. I like to get that signed on there if I can, if guys participate in that, because I'm a big fan of the dunk contest. I know it isn't what it used to be, but I'll always love it. Terry Cummings. Again, probably known more from Milwaukee, I would say, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. But I got that done through a public signing, personalized. Looks like there's a signing I had it done through. CSAC, they're out of Chicago area. he went to DePaul, so I think that's probably why he was there. Seattle Supersonics. Derek McKee. Nice handwriting out of Derek there with the personalization. Nate McMillan. Done through the mail. Two you got to have. The Rain Man, Sean Kemp. I sent this card to probably 5 different signings, and he kept canceling, but finally got it done. I know he's got a weed shop out there in Seattle now where you can go through to get some signatures. But happy with this one. Got the Rain Man inscription on there. Just a cool card, too. And, of course, his partner in crime, the glove, Gary Payton. Got that done through a private signing, or maybe a public signing, but I wasn't there. Sent it in. Sonics, got the number 2 jersey on there, of course, wore number 20 for most of his career. Ricky Pierce, done through a private signing. Utah Jazz. Jeff Malone, great player for Bullets and Jazz. No relation to Carl or Moses, for that matter. I sent this off and then didn't see anything come back. And I saw a bunch of returns coming back, so I sent him out another one. Got this one back, and then this one showed up shortly after. So I got 2 Jeff Malones, plus some other stuff done through him. Appreciate that, Jeff. I'm sure you're watching. Guy who always signs in the worst markers you've ever seen. Theodore Blue Edwards. Signed to me. The late, great Mark Eaton. Got this done through the mail a few years back. Passed away a couple of years ago. Personalized to me. Probably my biggest claim to fame on Instagram is when I posted this, he liked the post. So, rest in peace, the great Mark Eaton. Thurl Bailey. This was a purchase, I believe, although I think I've seen him doing some signings recently. So if he's cheap, maybe I'll send in for one of those. Thurl Bailey. And unfortunately, last one for the Jazz. No offense to Delaney Rudd, but Delaney Rudd. I say unfortunately because I missed out last year on the Karl Malone signing. Say what you want about him, but I want him for the set. It was just too expensive at the time, and right at the beginning of the year, right after Christmas. And then same goes for this year, the John Stockton signing. Kicking myself for not just doing it, but he was signed in January this year, and it was just too expensive at the time. So didn't send a card in for that. Hopefully he made a ton of money and enjoyed signing, and he'll do another one because I would certainly send in for that. But I did miss both the Karl Malone and the John Stockton. But we'll get him eventually. That's what makes this fun. And wrap up with the Washington Bullets. Current NBA referee, Haywood Workman. Good through the mail signer. And he reads your notes because he commented something back on the note I wrote him. So a lot of times I feel like they just sign the cards and send them back, which is fine. But he did write something back to me about something I put on the note. John Williams. Good through the mail signer. Darrell Walker with the All-Rookie Team 1984 inscription on there. Good way to wrap it up here with the BK Broiler Bernard King. Of course, I wish I had him in a Nets uniform. That's how I know him. And when you think of Bernard King, you think usually of the Knicks, I would imagine. But he's on the Bullets in this card. Ended his career with them. He offers a few different inscriptions. I got It's Good to Be King. Of course, it was on a Knicks card. I would have got the King of New York inscription, but I just didn't think it made sense on this. But the great Bernard King. I got a couple extras I'll show you here because I'm sure you haven't had enough of this yet. These are ones that are outside of the set that I'm collecting. This Skybox set had like 700 cards in it or something. So these are just some all-star cards and other things that are outside of what I'm collecting, but I still want to show them off because they're really cool. I'll go quick. Here's Craig Hodges, All-Star Weekend with a three-time 3-point champion inscription. Another B.J. Armstrong, just because I love B.J. Armstrong. Chris Ford through the mail. He made the first 3-point basket in NBA history. I asked him to sign that. He did not. That's okay. D. Brown, which I don't have the version for my set. I don't know why I sent this card and didn't send the other one, so I got to get that also. But D. Brown, All-Star Weekend card. Stacey Augmon, rookie. One of the coolest cards in the set right here. Larry Johnson. Did that through a signing and then had it certified. Signed to Ryan. Love that card. The great Lenny Wilkins. This one is fading like crazy, but got that on the Dream Team card. Bad boy Piston coach Chuck Daly, no longer with us. Bought this at the National. I bought like 10 cards from this guy and charged me like $30. So this was, roughly $3 card. Didn't know if it was real or not, but sent it into PSA, got it slabbed up and authenticated. So $3 plus the price of authentication for a Chuck Daly. Take that all day. Late Jerry Sloan. Kind of a small dark signature there. And finally, I think this one's really cool. This is Ray Clay. He was the PA announcer for the Bulls during the Michael Jordan era. He put "and now Ryan" on there. So if you're familiar with the Chicago Bulls introductions, that was Ray Clay. Got that logo card signed by him. And that's it. All right, guys. That's it. Thanks for letting me share that. If you made it all the way through, I really appreciate it. If nothing else, it gave me a chance to kind of dust off the case that I have these cards in and update my checklist. After updating it, I found that I'm only 48% way through this set. So I'm not even halfway there yet. And I got some big names to check off the list. So should be fun to try to complete it. Probably never will, but something to work for, and I really enjoy doing it. If you have any of these or know anybody that has any, please let me know. If you or somebody you know is working on the set and is wanting to break it up or anything, maybe we can work something out. Please let me know. So, again, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.